Day with Susie Morris. Brought to you by Ethel Gloves.
When you're growing plants in containers, you want to use a dedicated potting soil instead of soil from the garden. Garden soil is too heavy and dense to use in containers. I mix up my own potting soil because it saves me a lot of money and I can make a higher quality product than I can buy in the store. I also want to make sure that I don't have any chemical fertilizers or anything in my potting soil since I'm usually growing vegetables and edible things in them. There are 3 basic ingredients to homemade potting soil: vermiculite, compost, and peat moss. You can use coconut coir instead of peat moss. The peat moss in the coconut coir is basically there to add organic matter and make the soil light. Compost is a great addition to your homemade potting soil. It adds nutrients for your plants. I make my own compost with organic matter from around the garden. Vermiculite makes the soil lighter and it helps with water retention. I buy my vermiculite in big 4 cubic foot bales from the local farm supply store, but most greenhouses carry it as well. You can use perlite or vermiculite in your potting soil. I prefer using vermiculite because it composts down into the soil eventually. The perlite is lighter and it floats to the top of the soil, and it's just a little too styrofoamy for my tastes. You're going to want to add some fertilizer to your potting soil to feed your plants. I really like using the Dr. Earth fertilizers as they're organic and are made of natural products. And you can buy specific ones depending on what you're growing: flowers, vegetables, tomatoes, fruit, and a starter fertilizer for seed starting. You can figure out how much fertilizer you're going to need for each container by following the directions on the back of the package. Your basic recipe is going to be 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 vermiculite, and 1/3 compost. The easiest way to measure is to get a bucket and use a bucket full of each, or you can easily scale the recipe. If you want to make a large batch, just use a wheelbarrow load full of each. And stir until evenly mixed. Chances are your peat moss is really dry, so you're going to want to moisten the soil a little bit before you fill the pots. I usually water a little bit and then mix. All you need to do now is fill your pots. I like to fill mine halfway and then add my fertilizer. So I'll sprinkle in half of my fertilizer, pull out any sticks from the peat moss while you're doing this. I'll fill the pot the rest of the way, and then add the other half of the fertilizer. And now you're ready to start planting.